Hey, all, Baruch Levy B here from Soul Centered. Thanks for tuning in. I want to talk to you about my new program. I just made this and released it a couple weeks ago. It's called Defy Your Number. It's part of my Defiance Spirits philosophy, which is built around the work of Dr. Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor, author of Man's Search for Meaning, and logotherapist. I'm a logotherapist. And father of logotherapy. I am a logotherapist. And Kabbalah, Jewish mysticism, kind of the fundamentals or foundations of the blueprints of our spirit, our soul, and what we're here to do. And then last but not least, the Enneagram. The Enneagram is an ancient personality typing system that is so much more than that. And I really want to focus on the Enneagram because it is at the center of my personal spiritual work now in this life. I've really turned to it on a daily basis to navigate, and also the way I guide people. And so I put together this program, Defy Your Number, because I want people to have access to an intro to the Enneagram seen through the lens of Dr. Frankl. This is a unique take on the Enneagram. There's some great programs out there. This is the first that I know of that synthesizes these three things, but even these two things of Frankl and the Enneagram. And why that's important to you is because, I haven't met a person who disagrees with Frankl and Nietzsche who says he or she who has a why to live for can endure any how. When you know your why, your purpose, you can endure any how, any detail. But the question is how? I mean, how do you live your why? Especially when it's challenging, especially when life's kicking you in the ass. How do you do that? How do you do that in your relationships? How do you do that in your professional life? How do you do that, in every area of your life? How? I need hows. And so the Enneagram has proven to me to be a system of how. What do I do? Where do I go? My entire work is built around Frankl's one line: between stimulus and response, there is a space. And in that space lies our freedom and our power to choose our response. And in our response lies our growth and our happiness. Let me say briefly the beginning. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. And that's the space of the Enneagram, because the Enneagram shows you how to expand that space, how to take back your power to stop reacting and start choosing, or as Frank would say, responding. That's what it means to be responsible, able to respond to your life. Because here's the deal. All of us, when we are in fear, when we are scared, we all of a sudden we go into reaction. And reaction is simply an animal instinct: survive. And there's nothing wrong with that animal instinct. We need that thing to keep us alive, out in danger, out in harm's way, when we're going through turmoil, all kinds of losses and struggles and suffering. We need to survive. And that animal instinct will show you how. But here's the challenge I see with my clients: we get stuck in survival. We get stuck in triage, and you are not here to survive. Animals survive. It is a start. It is not a stop. When your loved one dies, when you're going through a divorce, when you've gone through all kinds of life's T's, transitions, tests, trials, traumas, tragedies, you survive and then you thrive. How do you do that? Dr. Frankl, how do you do that? He has some really great techniques, but he was more of a philosopher and kind of a big picture thinker. The Enneagram is this system that shows how. So here's one example. And I have a podcast. Actually, I have two podcasts that just came out last week. You can listen to them over at defiantspirit.org. Go check out my podcast on the survival instincts. But this is just one little glimpse of the Enneagram. The Enneagram says what we all know. We have a basic instinct to survive. What it nuances is that there are three basic instincts. You have all three, but you have a go-to, your favorite one, where you react. So when the shit hits the fan, which one do you go to? Well, some of us will go to self-preservation. And self-preservation, or SP on the slide, it's just simply what it sounds like. Am I okay, right? Taking stock of your physical well-being, kind of looking at the safety and security, and that's where we go. We just get stuck there, or we go there too frequently without even realizing it. And so part of the work of the Enneagram is to choose your response, to get beyond just self-preservation and to access these other two instincts. The other two instincts are SX, which is everybody's favorite, sexual. Now, sexual doesn't just mean sex, it can, but these are hardwired into us. Think thousands of years of survival. So the sexual instinct is stay alive as a species, right? Propagate myself, spread my seed, but it also is spread my ideas, make an impact, connect with one other person, form that bond. So in fear, some of us will go to that instinct of connect with another person, maybe losing ourselves, where self-preservation might lose themselves in kind of an obsession around safety or security. Somebody who's sexual in nature might lose themselves in trying to look too good, trying to be wanted, desired, desirable. So we can lose ourselves in each of these. We can also liberate ourselves from them. And last but not least, social. Social is sort of the survival of the herd. Where do I go? When I'm in fear, I start looking at, is my family okay? Is the community, right? Making social bonds in a more collective group. What's the hierarchy so that I can survive in this setting, whether it's a business setting or a church setting or an organizational setting, communal setting. And so these three, and you can lose yourself to the system. You can become a follower, get sucked up. I've seen it a lot in synagogues and churches. People lose their identities in these systems. They can also be liberated. There's nothing wrong with them. But our instincts are wired towards self-preservation, sexual, or social. When you start studying the Enneagram, you start saying, oh, there it is. I see when I'm in survival. So I'm a sexual 8. That means I get intense. And I thought for the past 50 years, that's just B, right? That's who I am. And what I've done over the past 5 years, especially looking at the Enneagram, is really looking at, is that who I am? Or is that how I survive? I just make myself bigger. I just get more intense. I go fight. Some people go flight. It's not better. It's not worse. It's reaction. And when we're in reaction, we are not responding. We are not living our best self. We are not living from a place of truth. We are not living our essence. That's the work that we're here to do. And so our work is to figure out, our personality type and all the nuances like self-preservation, sexual, social, these instincts, where we go when we're in default, where we go when we're in reaction, and how to take back our power and make a choice between stimulus and response. There is a space. Defy Your Number is a program to show you your space, where you go when you lose space, you lose yourself, you lose your ability to respond, and how to take back that space, to expand that space so you can stop reacting and start responding. Jump over to defiantspirit.org where you can get the new program. Even if you don't buy it, you can download free templates for 9 different types to see how each type reacts when they walk into a bar. It's caricature, it's a little silly, but it's important because this stuff is real when we walk through the doors of a bar or the boardroom or the bedroom. We bring with us that instinct. The question is, do you want to live only by your instincts, or do you want to take back the defiant power of your spirit to make your stand, as Dr. Frankl says, to choose your response? That's the work I'm doing with people all day, every day. Now you can do this without me on your own. DefiantSpirit.org. Until the next time, shalom, salam, namaste, peace.